You're watching Explore Tulsa.
I think I've been a fighter my whole life. I grew up when I was 4 years old. I told my dad, I said I want to be a G.I. Joe and I want to be a fighter. And I used to jump up and down in shadow box watching the Rocky movies, and G.I. Joe's was kind of where it was at for me as far as cartoons went. And I turned 18, went to the military, was U.S. Army sniper. And then all I had left on my bucket list was the fighter part. So I started fighting in there, and then when I got out, I kept fighting. I did combatives, a lot of combative training, a lot of MMA training while I was in the military. It was pretty good training. I learned a lot about jiu-jitsu. I had good hands. I boxed from when I was a little kid, and it kind of worked out for me. I also went and got my education. I have 2 degrees. I work here downtown Tulsa at the BOK Tower for Magellan. I work in ops control, so I do a little bit of both. So I use the brains and the bronze.
Well, I've worked with Andrew for quite some time. I started training fighters in 2009 in Owasso, actually, and he's one of my original guys that had came and started training at the Owasso Boxing Club then. He was still amateur MMA at the time when he came, and have been working with him up to his turning to the pro ranks. And
Aaron's great. I feel like he's been a staple in my career. Always supportive. I've took him with me to every pro fight. He's really mentored me. I've really grown up in the last few years. He kind of helped me and forced a hand on growing up.
Well, he sought me out. I thought he needed some guidance early on, and I just saw somebody that, I saw something. I don't know what it is as a coach. Sometimes guys come along, you see something a little special in them, and you think that they've got the makeup and the potential to be, that next level, and that's what I've always seen in him. He's always exhibited that kind of killer instinct when he gets inside the cage, but he's always polite outside. He's always been nothing but nice to me.
I think that we're in the era of mixed martial artists, not the greatest of one specific type sport anymore. Like the beginning of the UFC days, you have to be well-rounded. And I feel like I dictate where the fight goes in any fight.
I'm here in case somebody's ever good enough to make him have to stand up, because he's superior on the ground. He's great at his jiu-jitsu. He has a wrestling background, and he is just dominant when he goes there. So I'm always the backup in case he ever meets somebody that's his equal and he can't take them down or he can't get them to the ground. Then we need to be prepared to stand up and outbox these guys and outstrike these guys.
I feel like my best skill set is implementing my game plan under chaos. I always control the chaos, and I feel like that's the X factor that some fighters have and some fighters don't. You're born with it. You can do all the technique in the world, but some guys are born with the X factor and some guys aren't. I won a professional boxing match, was my last fight. I fought at heavyweight. My opponent was 6'5" with an 81-inch reach, and I took the fight on no notice, and I had to gut it out. It really tested me mentally. I had to dig real deep in that fight. I won a decision against a bigger, stronger, longer, better shaped guy, and I felt pretty good about it. He had about 50 professional fights, so it was a real test. I just love being a mixed martial artist. I love all aspects of it.
I've enjoyed working with him. It's like I said, it gives me a peek into a different environment besides my own. And Andrew, I think, definitely has a chance to be a world champion at this. So I'm excited for him. I hope everything works out.
I feel like that's really my key to success. Is I was born into this. I didn't wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to be a fighter. I generally wanted to be a fighter since I was 4 years old. So I feel like all that preparation for my whole life led to the opportunities I have today.